Guys, someone stop me. Cause I'm out of control! Out of control! So in case you guys couldn't tell, I went absolutely sick this last month. Just humongous sales going on. Some big new releases this month for the Blu-ray haul. This is one of my favorite videos that I get to make every single month here on the channel, where I just go over all this digital media, talk about a random stack of entertainment. If you guys are new to the channel, if you guys love discussing physical media like I do, it's kind of a lost art these days. If you guys love all things movies and television, do consider smashing that subscribe button along with that notification bell right next to it so you can always stay up to date. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on your way out if you enjoyed what you saw today. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what your haul is looking like. Because like I said, collecting this, I mean, I don't have to, but it makes me feel better about myself, you know? Streaming services are great, but what if your internet craps out on you? And nothing feels more nostalgic than popping in a nice little DVD or Blu-ray disc like the ones behind me. But oh boy, what a big haul. I'm gonna try and get through these as quick as I possibly can. Some of you might already see the first one on the bottom of your screen just because it's so gigantic. But look at this little bad boy I found here. The whole series, the complete series of Brooklyn Nine-Nine here. I still have yet to finish Season 8. I'm about halfway through it with one of my besties, and I cannot wait to finish this. Jake Peralta is one of my favorite sitcom characters of all time. Andy Samberg, what a great performance from him. And also Terry Crews playing Terry Jeffords, a different alter ego of his. Terry loves yogurt. You also gotta love how Stephanie Beatriz broke out in this show. And Andre Braugher as Captain Holt and his gigantic vocabulary. I mean, NBC was so awesome to pick this series up after it was dropped, canceled, whatever it was after Season 5, I want to say. I mean, just because it's comedic gold. I do prefer this show over The Office. You can fight me on that one, but I prefer Brooklyn Nine-Nine over The Office any day of the week. But up next, seeing as how we got Crimes of the Future coming out this weekend, also directed by David Cronenberg, starring Viggo Mortensen, here's Eastern Promises. Have never seen this, but a lot of people have been telling me some amazing things about this thriller right here. Viggo Mortensen, Naomi Watts is in this movie as well, so can't wait to finally pop this one in. Oh, you want to talk about stupid comedies? Billy Madison. I've said my fair share about how unfunny I think Adam Sandler is in movies like Grown Ups, and especially Jack and Jill. That movie's a piece of shit, but his earlier comedies like Happy Gilmore, The Wedding Singer, Billy Madison, this one right here, he can be funny if he really wants to be funny. Movies like this show you that he can. Oh, the irony going to a passion project like Chef, starring Jon Favreau, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr. is in this as well. I mean, this is just a fantastic film. Not enough people talk about Chef enough. It is so endearing. Haven't seen this one in a long time. The Italian Job, starring Mark Wahlberg. Talk about a good action movie. They don't really make them like The Italian Job anymore. It's a really slick looking feature. Speaking of action movies, the Nicolas Cage love is real in this haul. Gone in 60 Seconds. Somebody recommended this movie to me. I have never seen Gone in 60 Seconds. This is another one of those over-the-top looking Jerry Bruckheimer projects like a Top Gun or a Face Off. So I'm definitely curious to see what this is all about. Thank you, Luke, for recommending that to me. Speaking of Nicolas Cage, one of his best performances of all time in Joe, also starring Ty Sheridan. This was directed by David Gordon Green, who would go on to do the Halloween sequels. This, in my opinion, is easily David Gordon Green's best film. Without a doubt, Nick Cage is stellar in this movie. I think this performance was topped by Pig a few years after this, but Joe is still definitely a solid watch. If you want to talk about movies that are underrated or movies that people are telling me are underrated, I've never seen this movie before, but I cannot wait to finally check out Mel Gibson's Apocalypto. I'm someone who is a humongous fan of Braveheart. That movie should have and did win Best Picture back in 1995. It was a well-deserved victory. I love me some good epic movies like a Braveheart and a Gladiator. And a lot of people would put Apocalypto in that category, but not a lot of people talk about Apocalypto as much as a Braveheart or a Gladiator. And I can't wait to finally see what the buzz is all about here. I mean, that cover just looks so creepy, doesn't it? Had to add this one to the collection. Yeah, get off my lawn. Clint Eastwood, Gran Torino. I almost said Mel Gibson there, but I know that would be incorrect. A lot of people consider this to be Clint Eastwood's best performance of all time, which is saying something with Good, the Bad, and the Ugly existing. But in terms of Clint Eastwood's, like, after his career twilight in his later senior years, this is definitely one of his better efforts. Speaking of better efforts, a lot of people say this is a lesser Scorsese film, and not to say I disagree with him, but here it is, The Aviator, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Cate Blanchett. This movie got a bunch of Oscar nominations. I don't think it won a single one, though. Blanchett might have won for Best Supporting Actress. I'm sure somebody's gonna correct me down in the comments section below, just in case, but, yeah, The Aviator. Good film. Okay, guys, now we're getting into the new releases this month. First up is Dog. Yeah, Channing Tatum in a pretty good movie. A lot of people had put this in their top 10 of the year. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that upon rewatch, but it's still definitely a solid, very endearing relationship here between these two main characters. Speaking of an endearing relationship between two main characters, how about Uncharted with Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland here? This movie was so much better than it had any right to be. I know a lot of people didn't really like this movie, but I had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely not on the same level of adventure as an Indiana Jones, obviously. That franchise is untouchable. I would put this around the level of Jungle Cruise. I think I would give Jungle Cruise the edge just because of my bias towards Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but Uncharted is still a lot of fun. Had to get it on 4K as well. And this is just a better looking cover than the regular old Blu-ray that Sony was giving you. And finally, gosh, guys, I'm so excited to add this next one to the collection. This is, without a doubt, one of the best films of 2022 so far. It's definitely fighting with Everything Everywhere All at Once for me, and I had such an amazing time going to the opening night showing with my buddy Francisco from the Spoken Misc. You guys have guessed it by this point, but yep, the Batman has finally entered my collection. And don't worry, I've got a full review of this on the channel. I'll go ahead and leave a link to it down in the description box in case you missed it. The Batman was everything I wanted it to be and more. I think Robert Pattinson encapsulated this character oh so perfectly. Paul Dano as the Riddler is absolutely terrifying as a serial killer. That's an adaptation of the Riddler I never knew I needed. And trust me, I loved Jim Carrey as the Riddler as a little kid, but you had to bring the Riddler down to earth and make him a little bit more creepy, a little bit more Joker-esque. And I think this movie did that in spades and more. If Matt Reeves' masterpiece was War for the Planet of the Apes, this is his magnum opus right here. And I am so excited to finally add this to the collection and relive it over and over and over. And I can't wait for the sequel either. Please give me a more serious Mr. Freeze next. But there you go, folks. There is the whole haul for the month. Brooklyn Nine-Nine in one hand, a bunch of movies in the other, including the Batman. A bigger haul than usual this month, but I've got one more haul to make at the end of next month. And then after that, I know a lot of people have been asking me for an updated Blu-ray collection video. You're going to get that in place of the July Blu-ray haul. So feel free to stay tuned for that and much more. It's going to be a busy summer, my friends. I've already reviewed Top Gun Maverick. We're going to be looking at Lightyear, Thor Love and Thunder, Jurassic World Dominion, The Black Phone. There's tons of stuff that we can talk about that is super exciting. So feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell if you guys all want to stay up to date. And it's also super helpful in continuing to grow this lovely community that we've already built together. Folks, thank you all so very much for continuing to support the channel. Y'all are the best. With all that being said, back talk commence.